Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
So I talked to Aaron.
Look, why don't you just go on home with your folks? And you can call and talk to Aaron anytime.
He's my lawyer, and I want to talk to him now.
Look, what I'm trying to tell you is, A, he is not your lawyer. And B, you might not even need a lawyer.
I don't have to listen to you.
And who's going to tell you like it is?
Come on now, honey. Let's go home and have a good long talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have two lovely and talented ladies as our guests. Now, the first guest just gave you a small taste of who she is. She was recognized by Daily Variety to be the most beautiful African-American woman in Hollywood. She was the first African-American to be under contract with Columbia Studios in 1962, the first with 20th Century Fox in 1966, and the first to have a 3-movie deal with American International Films in 1968. She has been nominated for 5 NAACP Image Awards for film Best Actress, winning as the first Black villainess on television. I could go on and on and on telling you about this marvelous lady. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary Judy Pace. Greetings, Judy.
Hey, darling, how you doing?
Fine. Welcome to The Actor's Choice. Welcome to The Actor's Choice. First of all, Judy. First of all,
yes,
where were you born at? Where are you from?
In beautiful, gorgeous Los Angeles, California. Live right down the street from Samuel Goldwyn Studios, darling, and I always wanted to be an actress.
Wow. I knew you was going to say
Born and
that.
Raised,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. Me and my siblings integrated the West Side schools because in the 40s you could not be living on the west side of Los Angeles because it was in a deed that they could not sell their homes to black people or Asian people. So my daddy figured out a way, and we were able to buy a home on the west side. So that's where I was raised.
Wow. I knew it myself because, but I just wanted to hear you say that. The City of Angels, that's where you came from. Right here at
yes,
Hollywood, was right in front of you.
Darling, people come out here to fulfill their dreams.
Yes.
They do. Yes. So I was blessed to be born here. I really feel I was extremely blessed, and my mom and dad escaped from Jackson, Mississippi in the 30s and came to the Pacific Ocean. That's as far as they could go. So I was a blessed child.
So what made you get into acting?
I loved movies. I loved to sing. I loved to dance. I just did. We would going to the movie theater was just something we did all the time. And my sister Jean also wanted to be a singer and a dancer, and she accomplished that. And I just did. But at the time, it just was no one on the screen that looked anything like me. And I can remember people used to say to my mom, "You need to tell that girl, what is she talking about? She wants to be a movie star." And my mom would say, "She can be a movie star. She's talented." This is when I'm like little, 7, 8, 9 years old. And we're in Southern California. She can be anything she wants to be, if that's what she wants to be. So I got great encouragement from my parents. And I just kept moving forward, learning my skills, going to acting class, comedy workshops, all those sorts of things. Dancing, singing, doing that. Yeah, I do sing, too. I'm not Aretha. And not Ella Fitzgerald, but I do sing. Okay.
Excellent. 1973. That was the year you got your first role in the adventure comedy thriller. You were playing the role of Liberia in the film 13 Frightened Girls. Recall that?
Oh, yes. That was got my contract with Columbia Studios through that film. And it was just a wonderful situation because there were ladies who were coming from all over the world. And I was representing Liberia, and there was someone from England, actually an actress, and someone from Japan, actually an actress. And we shot for almost a good 6 or 7 weeks. And we got to know each other. We're all like about 19-ish. And it was wonderful. And it was a hit. So it pumped my career right on out there. And after Columbia, I was under contract to 20th Century Fox, where I was on Peyton Place with two incredible actors, Ruby Dee and Glenn Turman. And that was me playing the first black villainess on TV, and she was just awful. She was crazy. And with Ruby Dee being the mom and Glenn Turman being the young man I was blackmailing, saying that he was the father of my child. So she was really evil. She had hitchhiked her way to Peyton Place from Harlem. So I had a ball playing that role, and it really changed my career and moved it on up. Yes, indeed.
Okay. What kind of roles were you looking for?
I loved comedy. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, okay? Along with being a dramatic actress. But I have to say this. I feel like I have really witnessed a miracle, because when I was with Columbia Studios, the only other black person on the whole lot was a man named Joe. They called him Joe, but his real name was Joseph, and he was the shoe shine guy. They called him the shoe shine boy. I'm saying on Columbia Studios in Burbank and the one right in Hollywood, there were no brown people. And today, I am just so taken away and so proud of all of these young people and older people who were really, really, really making an imprint and setting a standard within the industry, behind the camera, in front of the camera. I'm just thrilled that I have lived this long to see it, because I'm going to be 80 in about a minute, okay?
Excuse me, would you say that again, please?
I said I'm going to be 80 in just about a minute, so I am so happy I've been able to witness this incredible situation. Absolutely incredible. And to have been a part of it in the beginning, in the 70s,
wow,
when we were just starting to, after Oscar Michelle, of course.
Gotcha.
And I always refer to that period, that 70 period, as the black film renaissance. I really believe black exploitation films is a racial slur. So I don't use that word. I refer to it as the black film renaissance, and I wish more people would stop using black exploitation films. It's a hook that got hooked, and it just won't get away. I wish it would change.
All right.
So, and at that time, that's when in the 60s, and while I was doing the work on The Young Lawyers as the first black lawyer on TV, that's when I met Curt Flood.
Ah.
That's when I first met him. And it was because of Willie Mays. Some of you might remember a show called the Dating Game.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Mays was on the Dating Game, so all the guys, especially the ones who played center field, watched the Dating Game. And Curt Flood saw me on that show, and he came and found me here in Los Angeles. It took him a little while, but he found me, and that's how we first met. And we're talking 1964, 65, right in there when we started dating. And we were together until 1969 when he exiled himself from this country and was gone for almost a decade.
Okay. And then you met another gentleman?
Oh, yes, I did. I met another gentleman who I had dated before I dated Curt Flood for about a year. His name was Don Mitchell. He starred on the Ironside TV series, and we were married in 1973. Had two beautiful children, and we had a lovely life, and then, as people do, we separated. And we separated. And then comes back into my life is Curt Flood. We're now in the 80s, because he did come back to the United States. And we married in the 80s, and we were together until he passed away in 1979. So we were able to come back together.
Right.
And I marveled at the way he maneuvered himself through I'm not going to be traded. I was with him during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to the big meeting, a Major League Baseball Players Association, the Players Union big meeting they had in Puerto Rico. to determine if they were going to support Kurt or they weren't going to support Kurt. And by him speaking, letting him know what he was going to do, he was not going to be traded. We should be able to work and go and be wherever we want to be, and no one should own you and sell you as a piece of property. As he stated, I am not a piece of meat to be bought and sold irrespective of my wishes. I'm not going to be traded. He is the first athlete who ever said, I'm not going to be traded. And the representatives there at the meeting in Puerto Rico voted unanimously to support him, absolutely unanimously, and they took the case all the way to the Supreme Court. But sometimes people remember Kurt for that action, which was part of the civil rights movement, because a person of African descent, a person of descendant of slaves, would immediately recognize how wrong that was. And it was wrong. And he legally went ahead and had that change. When I say legally, it's now part of the laws of the United States. There is a congressional act that bears the name of Kurt Flood and his number. It's called the Kurt Flood Act, Bill number 21. And what it did, it took the rights away from the owners, because Major League Baseball is exempt to all antitrust laws, except in one area, and it's called labor, and it's designed, and it's called labor regarding athletes. So the athletes who play Major League Baseball operate under the same situation as everyone else who has an employer and they're employed. And that's called the Kurt Flood Act, Bill number 21. But he was an incredible player. He was an incredible player. When he was first signed and he went to the minor leagues in the South, he knew he had to be better than everyone. Mm-hmm. And he was, because the Carolina League, the first year he was there, he won the award for best player. That's for all the teams who were in the Carolina League. He was the best. But the problem was he was black, and he could not go into the Grand Hotel where they had the big event to give out the award, and he had to sit in the back of the bus because he was not allowed in the hotel. So they had to bring him the award. There was just an incredible journey that he went on. He was awarded 7 consecutive Gold Gloves. That's like winning the Oscar or the Tony or the Grammy 7 years in a row. He was the one who changed the way you played the center field. He was just incredible. He was magnificent. He really was. And also 2 World Series rings. And also, the year they traded him, that was the year he won his 7th consecutive Gold Glove, and he was also the first black to be captain of the St. Louis Cardinals team. He was incredible.
I understand he was inducted into the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Yes, he was. He was inducted to the St. Louis Hall of Fame, and also inducted into the Bay Area's Hall of Fame. The NFL-CIO named their award after him, the labor union, the Kurt Flood Award. And this year, Major League Baseball Players Association now give the Kurt Flood Award. And to celebrate their 50th anniversary, Major League Baseball Players Association, the Players Union, they celebrated it with a U.S. postal stamp.
Yes.
With Kurt Flood's image on the stamp.
All right.
Which, he would have so loved that. He would have so loved that. Sometimes when people think of athletes, they think of maybe someone who's not that bright. That used to be the situation, maybe. But the guys that he played with and the men that he came up with were incredible. He's from the city of Oakland. And in Oakland, they had 2 high schools. One was black kids and one was the white kids. Well, they would pick out the best athletes from the black school if you could keep up academically with the students in the white school. So at his high school, his schoolmates were, I think, two of the most brilliant men, Frank Robinson, who became the first manager in baseball, and Bill Russell, who became the first manager in basketball, and Kurt Flood, all came through that school at the same time because they were smart extremely smart. Kurt was student body president
Yes.
at that predominantly white school. He was just brilliant.
Right.
Am I
Judy,
bragging on my?
yeah, that's okay, brag lady. That's okay. Tell us exactly what it is that he did for all the players that they're now enjoying.
Well, he changed the way. How could I say this? He changed the way business is done in all disciplines of sports. He completely changed. It completely changed. What he did was he took a case to the Supreme Court. He lost the case, but the imprint that he started continued to grow. And free agency did happen because he tore down the wall. And that's why when I mentioned the Curt Flood Act, Bill number 21, that's when Congress passed the bill that took away the privilege from Major League Baseball player owners, that they could not operate in that way anymore. You could not just have a reserve clause where that meant you could keep that person forever. You could sell that person. You could make them go away if you decided not to sign them again. And they could not play for any other teams. So he changed all of that. That's what he did. He changed the dynamics of where the athlete sits and where the owner sits. He leveled the ground. That's what he did. But he also was an incredible center fielder. And that's why he has 7 consecutive gold gloves, and that's why he was captain of the team, and he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was incredible.
Why are they holding him out? Why are they not letting him do this?
Well, I think we live in the United States of America.
Okay.
And I think that says a lot and answers your question, where you have situations of privilege for some and not privilege for others, where you have a set of unspoken situations where, no, you literally go to the back of the bus.
Okay.
You don't say it, but that's what you mean. He's a black man. That's what I'm trying to say. He is a black man who changed the dynamics of the world of sports financially. For all athletes, he changed the laws of the country with the Congressional Act. He did it. And they can't say his stats are better than those that are sitting in the Baseball Hall of Fame right now. He's of that level. He is a Hall of Famer. He should be there. And when I read in an article or a number of articles, I've been seeing this. It says, Kurt was an okay player. There was not one person of African descent who signed to play Major League Baseball, that first generation after Jackie Robinson, who were not super incredible, dynamic, we will save the team, we will go to the World Series players. Because if you weren't of that level, you weren't going to be on the team. And they, if you understand what I'm saying, they had to be the best of the best.
Yes.
As when he first went off to the Carolina League in the minor leagues, when he was the most valuable player of all the teams in the Carolina League. And that's the mindset they have to have. That's why you have a Bob Gibson and a Lou Brock and the Maury Wills. Those guys were incredible players. Cool Papa Bell, even the guys from the Negro Leagues. They were magnificent. So I know there are reasons, but I think there are cultural reasons. Has nothing to do with his stats.
You have gathered, yes, yeah, that answered it definitely. You have gathered a lot of people, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. We have a video, we want to show that next. There are a number of people and groups that you have put together a campaign, my dear. And we thank you very, very much because he deserves what you say. All the money that these guys are making over the years, he ain't made a dime. Not of that money, but he was the one that put it in place. Tony,
and he was quite happy they were making the money.
Yes.
He always said the gap is getting wider between the players and the owner. They need to give them more money. So he always was quite happy about that, really and truly. And my teammates, the teammates are, I think, George Will, the writer. People consider him the expert of the experts.
Right.
Ken Burns,
Okay.
Ken Burns, who made a 9-hour documentary
Mm-hmm.
about baseball. And Curt Flood is one of the few he's in every episode.
Wow.
Ken Burns came to the house and was in here for over a week videotaping Curt, filming Curt for the documentary. And George Will, he is such an expert on the game. He also is part of the team. And Marla Gibbs is part of the team.
Yes.
And Spike Lee is part of the team.
Okay. We have a video.
Wonderful.
We have a video we'd like to show of Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. Can you roll that, Tenant? Can you roll that?
Hi, I'm Marilyn McCoo.
And I'm Billy Davis Jr.
We believe that Curt Flood should be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame for his accomplishments and for his recognition. Time magazine singled him out as one of the most influential athletes of the 20th century. Sports Illustrated called him baseball's best center fielder of his time.
Curt took a stand that ruined his career, but was directly responsible for the free agency system that exists in Major Ball today.
All right. Let's go over some of the people that are helping you out. You mentioned a few of them. One of them was legendary director
wonderful?
Spike. Huh? Aren't they wonderful? Aren't they wonderful? Yes.
Marilyn and Billy. I mean, Marilyn and me have been friends since high school.
I see. Okay.
And she was going to be the Grammys, and I was going to win the Oscar.
Yes.
She won a Grammy. I haven't got my Oscar yet. Okay.
You still got time. Okay. Here's a couple of people just for the benefit of our audience. Get a chance to see. Here's one of them. Spike Lee. You got a picture of him? There you go. Spike Lee. Another one you mentioned his name was Ken Burns.
Ken Burns.
Yes.
Ken Burns. He's
showing his picture. Okay. Marla Gibbs. She just got her start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's helping you out on this project.
Yes, she is wonderful.
Yes. George Will.
Yes. George Will wrote a book called Curt Flood to Pete Rose. It was about the best and the worst.
All right. How about NASCAR road racer Felix Gallegos? There you go. There's a fella.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
How about MPJI News? They also helped out.
Yes. My teammates are fabulous.
Okay.
Also,
Okay, MPJI News. They're the next one. Okay.
Magnificent story.
All right. I don't see it up here. Hey, let's go to the next one. How about SCM Entertainment and Media? There's an organization helping us out.
Wonderful.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Another one after that is the Actor's Choice. We're helping out as much.
Just magnificent.
Oh,
I've heard about that man called Ron Brewington. You're Ron Brewington, right?
We are so honored.
Yes,
so honored.
Oh, that you've been working,
right.
really and truly. And then there's Loretta Devine.
Oh, yes.
Beverly Todd and
right.
Just,
Sherry Payne.
Yes, Sherry Payne.
Frida Payne.
And just wonderful folks coming on board and just working with us. And, of course, Major League Baseball Players Association and the United States Congress who started this campaign. It was Congress who said, put Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame immediately.
Right.
They started it over, the pandemic kind of got in the way, but It was the members of Congress who said this should happen immediately. And then everyone else just came on board with Congress. All the sports unions, all of the sports unions are in this campaign, from basketball, football, soccer, and hockey are all there. They had a wonderful press conference at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., of course, where representatives came from all the sports teams, athletes, United States congresspersons were there and set this whole campaign off, really and truly. And all of my congresspersons here in California, from Maxine Waters and Karen Bass, they all came on board. And Miss Watson, Congressperson Watson, is also on board with this. So it's just been an incredible, supportive, put the athlete, the fabulous center fielder. And I always think of the cover of Sports Illustrated where they show Kurt catching the ball 450 feet away from the batter, and they say the best center fielder on the front of the magazine, because he was the best center fielder, and he was smart. He was so smart.
Tell our audience, if you will. Okay, tell our audience, if you will, how can they? Yeah, I'm here. Can you tell the audience how they can get involved in this campaign? How can they sign up on the petition?
Well, they can immediately do this. And I know everybody has a computer and they have a cell phone. Just simply Google, elect Curt Flood to the Hall of Fame. Google, elect Curt Flood to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And you can join the petition to put this brilliant athlete and brilliant man into the Hall of Fame. You can petition, you can join, you can register and be counted. It only takes about 1 minute, 2 minutes to do. Do it. Be a part of the civil rights movement. Keep his movement going where you're honest with the stats, where you're honest with who's the best, and get the politics out of the fact that he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I should not have said politics. I should have said the cultural move, the cultural situation that we have sometimes in certain areas within the United States of America. That's why he needs to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So just Google. Okay? Folks, do it.
Got you.
Do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right thing to do. We have another video by Millen McCoo and Billy Davis. Tony, can you run that one? Can you run that one?
We're joining with Congress, the National Major League Baseball Players Association, and the sports unions
in petitioning the National Baseball Hall of Fame to vote Curt Flood into the hall where he belongs.
All right, as he said at the end, where he belongs. When I heard that, I went, yes, that's bottom line, where he belongs, yes.
You don't have, this is historical. The United States Congress has never done anything like this before. All of the sports unions have never come together to do something like this.
Wow.
This is absolutely historical because what's existing now, and he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, is so wrong. It's disgusting. That's why you have this energy behind placing him in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So when the United States Congress comes together, Republicans and Democrats, and all of the sports teams, and persons within the world of sports, your writers, your announcers, are all coming together to place Curt into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So just go Google, elect Curt Flood to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and do your part to make a right out of this wrong, and place him where he needs to, where he should be.
He should be, isn't he? I want to also let our viewers know
where
that
he should have been.
Right, where he should have been, exactly. I want to let our viewers know that on November the 19th, an event is going to happen here in Los Angeles. It's called the 10th Annual I've Known Rivers Film Festival for Arts, Culture, and Education. A gentleman by the name of Torrance Brandon Reese, most people call it Tori. He's putting on this fabulous event. And one of the things that he's doing is that he's honoring you, my dear, for that with the legendary, what they call the Living Legends Award. He's doing that. Plus, he's going to be.
It's wonderful. I was just thrilled to know that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And you're continuing, right?
Oh yes, I'm continuing.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the thing is that what needs to be done, he's also helping out with this campaign in addition to giving you the legendary award. And that is beautiful because more people that know about it. A lot of people don't know about this. So we're using everything at our disposal to let people know who you are, what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And it's going to happen with the help of, as you've named, so many dynamic persons and who are really pushing this forward. I can't think of any more dynamic situation as the United States Congress and persons like he is with the event that's going to be happening right here in Los Angeles, and it's the 19th and the 20th. Right. It's a 2-day event, and on the 20th is when we're going to be celebrating. I'll be receiving my award and also celebrating Curt Flood and working forward to getting him where he needs to be or where he should have been. Okay. So I'm just really, really, really so excited about it, and just how people have come forward. Gotcha. And understand the situation and know that it's not right, and we're all going to make that wrong a right, turn it into the right thing.
Judy, you're also an ambassador, aren't you, for Major League Baseball players?
Yes, we forgot that. I didn't talk. I'm so busy talking about my husband and a little bit about my career, but I am the ambassador for Major League Baseball Players Association, the Players Union. And have been for the last 4 or 5 years. And they invited me to come and be a part of this when they did the stamp for Curt, which for their 50th anniversary, that's when I became the ambassador. And they are just so incredibly, how could I say, loyal. They so appreciate what he did. They celebrate what he did. He's just dynamic. Curt is just dynamic, and the union, they're like one and one.
Gotcha.
He is their symbol for what's right and also letting people know what's wrong, and this is wrong, that he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Judy,
they continue to celebrate Curt.
Thank you. This is a struggle. We've been watching you, Judy, and lady, you are the best. How can I get me a Curt Flood T-shirt?
Darlene, you can get a Curt Flood T-shirt or get some more Curt Flood T-shirts and send them to your friends, give them out to folks you know so that they wear their words. The shirt says, Flood the Hall. I think it's a fabulous statement, and the shirt looks good. You can get the shirt before you register or after you register. I say register first. And right from that Google, elect Curt Flood to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you can then tap your phone, or tap your computer, and you can go right to where you can purchase that shirt. It's 108 Stitches is the name of the company, and they are also the company that is doing the totaling of the petition. So it's all right there, and you can get your shirt. You can be counted. That you are a part of that petition to make this wrong right.
All right.
So that's how, darling.
All right. Judy, I want to say thank you. Comes in all sizes. Oh, come in all sizes, indeed. Want to thank you.
Yes. I want to thank you, absolutely, and the, how could I say this? The campaign. You so set it off. Your show, your presence, your ideas have just been incredible, absolutely magnificent, and I so appreciate them. And I just know he's looking down, appreciating you too, right. Really and truly. And your whole team, the whole team who works with you, they're dynamic.
Thank you. We're looking forward to that day where you're standing in the right place and they call his name and present the award, his trophy or whatever it is that they give to him, to you.
Yes.
So that...
Yes, because it's really actually very simplistic. We're talking about numbers when you're talking about stats. Mm-hmm. That's how you get in the Baseball Hall of Fame. You can't play with the numbers because everybody saw the numbers. Everybody knows his hitting, how he hit. He's up in the 300s. Everybody knows what an incredible center fielder he was. And sometimes people don't understand, and I said it before, if you were a black man and you played Major League Baseball in the 50s and the 60s, you had to be a superstar. Your stats had to outweigh everyone. That's why basically his black teammates are all in the Baseball Hall of Fame now.
You told me something. Because you told me something. You told me that Curt Flood was in the movies.
Yes, he was in the movies with me. If I was shooting on off season, I'm saying we were together for a long time. He is in Cotton Comes to Harlem.
Okay.
Which is now a congressional film. He's in that. He's in the audience. He's in Three in the Attic. He's in The Classroom. He's in The Young Lawyers. He's in the entrance, in the introductory of the show. He's walking up the stairs of the clubhouse, of the courthouse, I'm trying to say. So and these were all shot in different cities. We're talking New York, Charlottesville, North Carolina. We're talking Boston, because during his winter break, he would come out to L.A., and we would just have a wonderful time. And he would be out at Paramount Studios on the set with the guys for The Young Lawyers, and he really enjoyed it. He really did. We had so much fun. We were just having the most incredible life, I think, at the time, and I'm still blessed that he always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, when the only one out there playing ball when he was growing up was Jackie Robinson. So he was pretty much told what I was told by other people. What do you mean? You can't be that. And I wanted to be a movie star. So here you have your movie star and your Major League Baseball player coming together. And the way we met, if I told that story, it would take up the whole.
Go right ahead, madam. We have all time. We have all the time today. Go right ahead.
Okay, all right. It was because of Willie Mays. As I said before, Willie Mays was on the dating game. He saw me on the dating game, and he called the studio the next day, and it was Thanksgiving night that the show came on. So everybody was watching Willie Mays. He called the studio to get the telephone number of the girl, Judy. Her name was Judy. And they told him, no, we don't give out names and telephone numbers. You have to call the production company. You're calling the station. So he calls the production company. They tell him the same thing. You have to call the union. He's saying, what's the union? So he calls the union. They say, I can't give you that. You have to call her agent. What agent? He's talking to Screen Actors Guild now. And they said, you have to call the agent. He said, what agent? It's William Morris. What's her agent's name? She said, just call William Morris Agency and tell them who you're looking for, and you'll get her agent. He actually did get my agent, Cy Marsh, at the William Morris office. And Cy, a baseball fan, of course, checked to make sure who was saying they were Curt Flood was Curt Flood. Had some of his guys check the numbers, called St. Louis Cardinals, blah, 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 and it realized it was actually him. So Cy felt very comfortable giving Curt Flood the telephone number to my mother's ladies' apparel shop called Kitty's. Largest black-owned ladies' apparel shop west of the Mississippi for over 35 years, according to Dun & Bradstreet. Okay? So he calls the shop. And my mom asked, it says, Judy's not here. And he says to my mom, well, Cy Marsh told me to call. And my mom says, oh, Cy told you to call. So she gives him the home number. And that's how we met. He starts calling on the phone. And I don't want to talk to him because I don't know him, but he still keeps calling, and he sends the baseball cards to me. He sends newspaper articles because him and my dad developed a nice phone relationship, and my dad would talk to him. So then one day my dad tells me that I was being rude. This is after about 9-10 months of him doing this, and that I should go out with him because all the black men who play baseball, they're like on the level of Jackie Robinson, so you need to go out with him. So I say, okay. And we talk. And I say we have to go somewhere where there's a lot of people, and we have to have a chaperone because I don't know you. He calls back in about 20 minutes after I tell him that, and he says, will Dodger Stadium do? And I'm like, what, Dodger Stadium? He says, it's the World Series, and I have tickets for your mother, your father, my dad, and my aunt. Would that do for chaperones? And I say, yeah, okay, that'll work. That was my first date with Curt Flood, was at Dodger Stadium for the opening day of the World Series.
Okay.
Met his father, met his aunt. My dad never missed a day of work, so he did not go. He was a lead hand at Douglas Aircraft, and my mother wanted to know, do I have to sit in the sun? And it was like, no, Mommy, but so they did not go. But that's how I met Curt Flood in 1960, the end of 1964.
Right.
And then we went out in 65, and we were together until 69 and 70 when he exiled himself in the 70s in 1970 from this country. And then we
Judy?
got back together again and got married. So that's the story.
That's beautiful. My next guest is here. But any final things you want to say?
Yes. This is my final thing to say. Numbers don't lie. His stats are better than those who are already in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Google, elect Curt Flood to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and register, be counted, and join the Curt Flood team with the other members called the United States Congress, all of the sports teams, and persons throughout the United States and persons throughout the world. So those are my last words. And I'm going to say this again. Google, elect Curt Flood to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Judy, God bless you. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, darling. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Bye-bye. Goodbye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye, Judy.
Bye. Bye-bye, dear. Bye-bye.
Tony, go ahead and roll it.
I said, honey, you gotta get up early in the morning to do a number on me. My mom told me about people like you. He said, oh yeah? What your mama say? My mama done told me when I was in pigtails. My mama done told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a multi-award winning with two Tony nominations, Drama Desk Award, Theater World Award, Outer Critics Circle Award, NAACP Award, and several others. She began formal voice training at the age of 8 in the Pittsburgh Physical Institute. She later continued at New York's famed Juilliard School of Music, followed by years of extensive dance training. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the talented artist, Vivian Reed. Vivian,
hey,
come on down. Glad you can make it, dear. We understand.
Oh, same here. Trying to make me a doctor, honey. Medicine.
Hey, man, call you doc. I can just see it now, Dr. Reed.
That's right, Dr. Reed.
Where are you from originally, my dear?
Well, from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
And yes, from Pittsburgh, born and raised. And then after high school, got a scholarship to go to Juilliard because I was born a classical singer, and that's what I studied for years. And then went to Juilliard and ended up making New York my home.
Things have happened to you in your life. I can see you started at the age of 8 years old.
Yes.
Dancing. You spent a little.
No, not dancing. It's singing.
Singing.
The voice
Okay,
lesson. Dancing came about a bit later. I think I was probably around 20 or 21 when dance started, but my voice training started at 8. Yes.
8 years old. Wow, that's a good number. You did some work with some. Since we're going to cut this short a little bit, I'm going to throw some names at you: Honey Coles and Bobby Schiffman.
Honey Coles, they were my managers. Yes. And Honey taught me all about the stage. She was an incredible performer and tap dancer, as you know. And then Bobby Schiffman, his family owned the Apollo Theater at that time. So he taught me the business of show business. So I had the best of both worlds. It was great.
It was great. It was great. In fact, with that, when you started doing some work, I understand, you created the role of young Irene.
In Bubbling Brown Sugar, there was no role. Actually, when I went into audition and sang, they hired me on the spot. So I said, so what's the role? They said, there is no role. I said, what? And so I went about creating a role. And in that role was Sweet Georgia Brown, a song and dance number, and God Bless the Child, which was near the end of the show. So it was a wonderful showcase for me and what I had to offer.
Indeed. Now, being on Broadway, that is a unique situation for anybody who's ever been in this business. You had the pleasure of being on Broadway. Tell us what that was like, please.
It was fabulous because, you know, it's every performer's dream, especially if they want to do theater, to get to Broadway. And I was on Broadway several times. So I have been extremely blessed in my career. But I think you have to be prepared. You have to put in the work. You have to hone your craft. It's one thing to say that you want to be on Broadway, but are you ready? See, a lot of people want things handed to them on a silver platter, but they don't want to work for it. So I was ready. I was ready. Yes.
Okay. I remember what's her name, Debbie Allen, when she said and had that scene in there where she had that in her hand, and she said, "You want something, you got to get it," because there's a lot of competition in this business, is it not?
There's a lot of competition, and you know something, Ron, you don't have to be. And I have said this so many times to my students, to people who ask me for guidance. You don't have to be the greatest singer in the world. You don't have to be the greatest dancer in the world. But when you do what you do, it has to be done with conviction so that that audience can feel what you're trying to impart. And if you don't have that, if you don't have the passion in your work, then it doesn't mean anything. They don't care how well you sing. They don't care how well you dance because there's nothing behind it. So yeah, you have to come with the goods and you have to want it. You have to love this business because it's hard.
Vivian, you've done some great stuff, as I read your biography. You were on the Merv Griffin show in 1968 to 1969. You were a regular on that show?
Yes, I am on Mike Douglas' show and did Johnny Carson with Joey Bishop. And like I said, Ron, I've been so blessed in my career. Sometimes you start to feel, well, why am I not doing this and why am I not doing that? And then I have to think, wait a minute, look at what you have done that people only dream of, don't even get their foot in the door. So I thank God for all of his blessings and the people that I've met. I lived in Europe for 7 years and had TV specials, had my own television show there. So yes, I feel so blessed to have been able to survive in this career.
I see you did 6 soundtracks. One was Soul in 1970.
Yes, I've done recordings. Yes, I don't talk about my recordings a lot, although people say that I should. I just felt that at the time I was coming along, and yes, there are some recordings that are very good, but I find that the last 2 were the ones that I produced are better than some of the earlier ones because I was in control. Gotcha. So, but yeah, I had about maybe 6 or 7 albums in between Europe and the United States.
I found a couple of videos on you, and when I looked at those videos, lady, you can sing, you can dance, you can take it to the beach. Yeah. There you go. We found one. It said, you can have my mother. You remember that one?
No, you can have my husband.
My husband.
You can have my husband, but don't you mess with my man.
All right. Tony, do you got that? If you do, roll it, Tony.
Move out of the way. Right now. You can have my husband, but don't mess with my man. You can have my husband, but you better not mess with my man. I'm telling all you women, I want you all to understand. When I was with my husband, he was really mean. Now with my
Marvelous.
Oh, thank you.
You worked it. You really worked that one.
Thank you.
You have an affinity, I noticed, for a lady by the name of Lena Horne.
Yes, I actually created a show on her life. Her centennial was in 2017.
Yes.
And so someone suggested that I create a show. And basically, when I came out here the last time, at the Ebony Repertory Theater, Ren had me do that show. He asked me to do the Lena Horne show, and it's called Vivian Reed Sings Lena Horne. And I got to tell you, I was so happy to be out here because I've had wonderful memories of LA, and it's great to be back here this time with Blues in the Night. So yeah, Lena Horne show is very special. She gave me, sent over a trunk because her uncle was the accountant for the Apollo Theater. So I knew Mr. Horne, and Bobby Schiffman had asked Mr. Horne to ask Lena if she had any gowns that she could give to this budding artist. And she sent over a trunk of gowns. And later on, when she was on Broadway with The Lady and Her Music, I was able to go backstage, introduce myself, and tell her that I was the young lady that she had given the gowns to.
Here's a video, a short cut It's called Believe in Yourself. Roll it, Tony.
Yes.
From the moment you try, people you will believe in yourself. Right from the start, believe in that magic, that's inside your heart. Believe on these things, but because that's all this
Woo! Pat your feet to the beat. That was beautiful.
Yes.
That was
I love to perform. I truly do love to perform, and thank you.
Indeed. Speaking of performing, you have a
Yes.
gig that you're doing right now at the Long Beach Performing Arts.
Yes.
Tell us about it, please.
Well, it's Blues in the Night. I did Blues in the Night years ago. And so when Ren called me.
Who's this Ren? Who's this
Ren Brown. Ren Brown.
That guy, yeah. I know. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
We're
the artistic director, producing director of the Ebony Rep Theater at the Nate Holden Performing Arts. And he had seen my show several times at the National Black Theater Festival. So he called and he said, Vivian, if you are available, I would love for you. I would love for you. You know, he has that deep, beautiful voice.
That's him.
To come out and do, and am doing the character of the lady. There are 3 women, the lady, the woman, and the girl. And there are distinctions between the 3. The girl looking for hope, starting her life out, and has come into some bad situations with men. They all 3 have. And then there's a lady who has lived not the lady, but the woman who has lived the high time. She's had men, looking after her, whining and dining her, and she's used to the good life. But she too has fallen on not so good times. Yes. And then there's my character, the lady who is a singer, and things are not happening so well for her now. So all 3 are in this hotel and not doing very well. And then in the middle of all this is a man played by Paris Mann. And he's conniving. He's a womanizer. He tries to play them. And this man is the exact type of man that these women have been dealing with. And so they're singing the blues. And I think at the end of the show, when you hear, I got a right to sing the blues, it's like later for this. I need to get my thing back, my mojo back. And I'm going to sing my blues the way I want to sing it. So it's this kind of show, every woman today, and it's blues, old time blues, different kinds of blues by Alberta Hunter, Harold Arlen, Duke Ellington. The arrangements are fabulous, but every woman today can identify with this show because you know what? We've all been through it. We've run into men who just dogged us. Well, I don't know how much I let them dog me because, I'm only going to let you get away with so much. But it's a great show with great music. Carol Foreman plays the woman. She plays the woman. And then Jenna Gillespie Bird, she plays the girl.
Tony, can you put a picture up, that video, the shot? There's a shot they sent us. You can see members of the cast. There you go.
There you go. Yes. So that's there are 4 of us. And by the way, Ren Brown is a director. Fabulous to work with him. And Keith Young, choreographer. Wonderful work. And William Foster McDaniel is the music director. And he's also my personal conductor. And the band is stellar. So people will have a good time. There's so many messages in this show. And it's a show that makes you think, makes you laugh, and possibly may make you cry because people can identify, especially women, they can identify with this show.
Okay. Now, you opened on October 22nd.
We opened on October, our first preview, we opened on October 22nd at the International City Theater, I think it's called. But in LA, we will open on November the 13th. Okay. That's in LA at the Ebony Repertory Theater. And I'm so looking forward to that. And I've had a great time at ICT as well. But now we're going to be going on to LA. And there is a preview on the 12th of November, in case there are people interested. And we run through December the 5th.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Vivian, thank you very, very much for being here today. Folks, go see Blues in the Night. Hey, gonna be a lot of fun, they tell me.
Yes.
I'm gonna be coming out there myself just to see it. I want to thank your publicist, Lucy Pollock. Always comes through for us. Never, beautiful lady. But thank you very much, Vivian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actors Space. Much thanks to our guest today, legendary actress Judy Pace, and veteran actress, singer, and dancer Vivian Reed. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing worldwide audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.